everybody? I'm coming to you live from DC on Christmas Day. So, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Hope you're staying safe and you can spend some time with your loved ones this holiday season. And if you can, hopefully you get that opportunity soon. But I've had this car for 2 days now and I have to return it in a couple hours. So I thought I'd just do a little more filming and give you some impressions from inside the car. But yeah, this thing is a beast. Absolute monster. When I compare this M3 comp to my M2 6-speed, I mean, this thing's just significantly faster. It really comes down to the combo of the S58 and this ZF8 speed. Coming from a manual car, just the immediacy of the power, and once the boost builds, as you change gear to gear, you don't lose any of that power, any of that sensation of speed. Is just relentless. In terms of daily driving, this is a significantly better car than the M2 comp. Now I know I have a manual and this is an automatic, but that aside, I think the ride is so much better in this car. The tech is so much better. The power just feels more accessible. I just feel like the combination of the S58 and the ZF8 speed is perfect. So everybody's probably pretty familiar with what the interior of this car looks like, but it has the standard, well, to all the new models, steering wheel, 3-spoke steering wheel, but it has carbon fiber inlays and the big M1 and M2 buttons that allow you to set presets for the drive mode, the suspension, and the brakes on this car, because it's brake-by-wire. We've got this new instrument cluster that I'm not as big of a fan of. I really like the analog gauges in my M2 comp, but all cars are kind of going to this digital cluster that you can change and modify. So this gives you, some information on the car on the right, and then you can actually change the way the gauge cluster looks. The paddles are pretty nice, and the shift up paddle has texture on the back so you can tell which one you're shifting when the wheel is turned over. You've got this bigger navigation screen, and you've got CarPlay all the way across the screen now. Standard, that's a mod you can do on the older cars, but comes standard on this new one now. HVAC controls, looks modern, buttons for where you need them. The design on the older cars may age a bit better, but this definitely looks modern with the aluminum touches. iDrive controls, not as huge of a fan of these, primarily because it's hard to tell which buttons you're pressing when you're not looking at them. There isn't as much tactile feedback to tell you what buttons you're pressing, but this piano black button design is pretty popular in our cars, and obviously it's cheaper to manufacture. Let's talk about the rear seat space. Solid, but if you're over 5'10", you probably wouldn't want to spend more than an hour back there, but for a small family, I think rear seat space is definitely sufficient, and you could probably fit a car seat or two back there if you needed to. Let's check out the trunk. there's actually a fair amount of trunk space, as you can see. Definitely fit a couple suitcases back here. You got the 60/40 split folding rear seat. So yeah, fair amount of utility. This car also has roof rack rails, even though it does have that carbon fiber roof, so you could add a roof rack onto this car if you needed to. I feel like this is a GT car that can be a sports car if it really needs to be, but it's really all about eating up miles on the Autobahn really quickly and giving you that sensation of a sporty car. Whereas an M2 is a lot more playful, but doesn't feel as comfortable and confident as speed on the highway. So I think it comes down to a difference in the character of these cars. And honestly, it really depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for a GT car that you can take to a track day or two a year, monkey around in with your friends, but daily drive reliably and even winter drive for those in colder climates, this may be a great pick for you. But if you're purely looking for a sports car and you don't need the extra space, this may not make the most sense. At $73K for the M3 comp and at $77K for the X-Drive model, this thing ain't cheap. But one thing's clear, it's an absolute joy to drive, and as soon as you're behind the wheel, you forget about the ugly nose job. It's simply a cut above the rest. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more content. See you next time.